Welcome to Hometown Happenings. I'm Carol McCarthy here today at the Detroit Lakes City Hall with the Community Development Director Larry Remen. And Larry, I've asked you to come on Hometown Happenings or Hodgepodge,
Okay.
the TV version of Hodgepodge, to talk about community development. There's been a lot of projects in the recent, I would say, between 2011, into 2012, and it all kind of started with the realignment of Highway 10.
Right. I think the Highway 10 realignment was really a good project for the city of Detroit Lakes. It corrected a lot of issues that we had with the highway. We had a lot of entrances onto our highway that people had to be concerned about trying to navigate through Detroit Lakes, and with this new project we eliminated about 70 entrances onto the highway and brought it down to about 7. So that makes it easier for people who are going through town to get through town safely. It also makes it easier for people in town to get around without having to navigate the highway. And certainly the Roosevelt Avenue underpass is just a wonderful, wonderful thing to have in our community, because you don't have to wait for the highway traffic or the trains to get through and get to where you want to go.
Mm-hmm. And the realignment also opened up a number of acres for the city to redevelop.
Right. There's about 5 acres near our downtown that we're trying to redevelop right now, and approximately just a little under 1 acre is being used for the Veterans Memorial Park, and we're developing some new downtown parking, and of course everybody's very excited for the opening of Downtown Crossing and all of the businesses that are in there. And since I brought that up, we might as well talk about some of those businesses. Of course, Miguel's is moving over there. They've been waiting for a long time to enlarge their store and do something different, and the Highway 10 project held them off for a while, but now they're ready to move and they're going into Downtown Crossing, so they'll have a new restaurant with a drive-through, so that should be nice. We're also going to have a Made-Right Diner, a Jimmy John's, a Cherry Berry, O'Reilly's Auto Parts. I'm sure I'm going to forget some. Verizon and Sprint are also going to be in there, and I can't remember all the rest. But people are very excited to see that open, and it's going to be a nice addition to our downtown.
Mm-hmm. And we've had some great weather for construction season this year.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I think if we had weather like this every winter, we would have a much larger population than we have now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it could be the wave of the future, the way things are going. But also, now the city has also bought the land where the old Burger Time restaurant was.
Yes, the city acquired the Burger Time property, and that's where our liquor store is going to go, and we are going to be accepting bids for that project at the April council meeting. So that's very, very exciting. And I think a lot of people are just really happy with the way the Highway 10 project turned out, and we're seeing some development along that Highway 10 corridor, including the David Donahauer Funeral Home and also Weber Family Ford, which is locating out by Menards.
Mm-hmm. I'm talking today with Larry Remen from the City of Detroit Lakes. He's essentially the city planner, community development director here for the city, talking about a lot of the projects that are going on. Lots of development happening this 2012 in Detroit Lakes. Some projects are coming to fruition this summer,
right,
and then some are actually beginning this summer. Welcome back to Hometown Happenings. I'm here today with Larry Remen from the City of Detroit Lakes, the city planner, community development director here for the city, talking about lots of the projects that are going on, lots of projects under construction as we speak in 2012, March of 2012 when we're filming this. And Larry, we're talking about some of the redevelopment in the downtown area. Of course, the Downtown Crossing Mall, the Veterans Memorial, some parking lots going in, the new liquor store that will be open, I think if all goes well, in October of 2012.
There's 2 different timings for that opening. One is October of 2012. The other is we may push it off till later and open it in the spring of 2013. It just depends on how fast the contractors can move to get everything done, and there are certain times when it's not very wise to try and move the liquor store, and certainly over Christmas is probably not a good time to try and move.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about some of the other projects. You had mentioned also the David Donahauer Funeral Home, rebuilding out on the frontage road off Highway 10, and you know, big things happening in the North Industrial Park.
Right. The North Industrial Park was completed. We did an addition to that North Industrial Park in 2011. It was a $2.2 million project, And basically we added 19 new lots, and the really good news about that is that we got $1.1 million in EDA funding to help pay for that, plus another $250,000 from the state. So now we have some nice industrial lots available for expansion of our existing business and for new business, and the price is right for those lots.
Okay, and also we saw a couple new stores. I know CVS has opened the pharmacy, and will there be more development in that area too?
CVS opened on February 12th. It's a beautiful store. It turned out very nice. The site is very nice. There's a lot of parking for that store and also for the strip mall that's next door. And we're going to see some development on the rest of that block. We're looking at a tax increment financing plan that we'll be approving, if everything goes according to plan, that we'll be approving in May of this year, and that will be for an 8,500 square foot retail and office building. And so that's going to clean up that block quite nicely. So we're very excited about that, and there's just a whole lot of things taking shape for 2012. Of course, Weber Family Ford started their new project right at the end of 2011, the beginning of 2012, so that's going to be a big addition to our community. So we're very happy with all of the things that are happening here.
All right, great. So we're talking a lot about the downtown area, the North Industrial Park. I know that Brad Green is very happy that we're going to be working on a section of bike trail down by the lake between Westlake Drive and out to Dunton Locks.
We have a lot of plans for bike trails. There's the segment that you just mentioned going out to Dunton Locks County Park, and we've also looked at redoing some trails or adding some new trail along Highway 10 that would connect the North Shore Drive area with our downtown area to McKinley Avenue, which would then tie in with the proposed trail that St. Mary's is going to build, which would take us down Lincoln Avenue to the trail that was built when the Sanford Clinic was completed. And so we talked about bike trails, and that brings us to some big happenings in 2011 with St. Mary's redoing their major remodel and addition to their medical campus, and of course the Sanford Clinic, which doubled their size and created a new medical facility, or an enlarged medical facility down on South Washington Avenue. Another thing that happened in 2011 was we provided $800,000 in financing in a loan for rural Minnesota SEP, and that enabled them to purchase the office building that they're in and do some major remodeling. And that kept that nonprofit in Detroit Lakes, and along with that, of course, their 20 well-paying jobs that they have, and also the services that they provide to area residents.
All right, Larry Remen is with the City of Detroit Lakes, the city planner, community development director, and talking about lots of development going on in 2011, 2012, and beyond. And I know that the city is looking at to the west now, doing some sort of project similar to the realignment of Highway 10 to the east.
Well, we worked with the Highway Department on developing basically a plan for the future circulation of the town going west. And as everybody knows, basically the one way to get out west is on Highway 10, and we're trying to look at ways that people can get out to that area without having to be on the highway, and certainly to create some safer ways for pedestrians and bicyclists and people who are in mobility carts to get out to that area without having to be on Highway 10. So one of the projects that we're looking at is an underpass under Highway 59 and a frontage road system that would enable local traffic to get out to that shopping area out west without having to go on Highway 10.
All right.
That's pretty exciting too.
And our conversation will continue. I'm Carol McCarthy for Hometown Happenings on TV3, along with Larry Remen from the City of Detroit Lakes. Thanks for tuning in.